get a lot of questions about our upcycled wool long underwear or sweater pants or swants. So I thought I'd do like a quick little intro and tutorial about how to make them. So we usually go to thrift stores or we're given or recycle wool sweaters, and wool sweaters come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So you can get a fine merino if your kids are really sensitive, and those are good for thin layering. You can get a thicker sweater for really cold days. And basically we use the sleeves as most of the leg. Now, I used to only use the sleeves of the sweater when my kids were younger, but now they're older. My 11-year-old is the same height as me, so I've had to get a little creative on how to make them long enough. But this is what we use under rain pants, and in the winter we put 1 or 2 layers plus regular wool long underwear under rain pants, and we use that most of the year. We do use snow pants at home when we're just out for a few hours, but they're really bulky, and we find this the warmest. We've also worn these under snow pants, and we wear them skiing and all kinds of things. So they're super easy, but you basically need a 100% wool sweater or a wool polyester blend, no cotton. I have one here. And then you need a pair of pants that fits your child. If you have a younger child, I suggest picking one that's a little big, or kind of making it a little bigger than they fit so that the pants will fit for longer. It's harder to do now that my kids are bigger, because the sweaters only come so big. So the bigger your kids are, the bigger sweaters you're gonna need. So I basically lay out the sweater with the arm out like this. And then I take the pants that fit. So these are my 11-year-old's pants. And the key thing is that you wanna fold them in half and pull out this little curve here in the center or the crotch of the pants. And that's what's gonna make enough room for the pants to fit without being like super tight in the wrong spots. And this piece right here are the pieces that you end up sewing together to make the pants like open in a circle like this. So that's the key part, is that you always pull that out like that, and then you lay the pants down on the sleeve. So if you want them to last for a little longer, move them so that some of the bottom of the cuff is sticking out, or you can just match them up, and then you lay it out. Now you can see that this child is taller than the whole sleeve, right? So I'm gonna make an extra piece, and you can kind of see I did it with this really large pair here. I think maybe I didn't, oh yeah. So I cut the legs from the arm here. That was as long as the arm was. You can tell these are really used, they've got straw on them. And then I cut a piece from the body, the second piece up here, and I just sewed them here. And I just hand sew them. You can use a machine if you have one, or you have a tough machine. They're kind of hard to sew if they're really fluffy on the machine, so I like to just hand sew them, and it's pretty quick. So lay it out, and then you cut. For him, I would kind of cut here. So you're just gonna cut this piece out, including this little crotch piece. You're gonna cut that all out right there, and do the same for the other leg. And then you see I have this section here, right here, because he's too tall for the whole sweater. So you're gonna have to cut that section from the rest of the body. So you're really gonna use the entire sweater to make a big kid pair of pants. But it's okay, because otherwise you just kind of have this piece left over. So you have enough sweater to make the pants. Okay, so I've cut out both legs, and I laid out my pants on the bottom, and I put the cut arm / leg piece that we cut out on top, and I did leave a little extra for growth. You can see that. And then the most important thing is to line up the crotch of the pants with the crotch of the pants that you cut out, because that's gonna make your pants go together the right way. Now notice here on the back of this leg, right, here's the leg, the back of the leg, it is open here because remember this part went into the middle of the sweater. So you will have to sew this up because this will be the back of the leg. It'll be like back here, and so you don't want a big hole there. But you will have to sew on this one up to the crotch, right? Because that's also the inner part of the leg. So I laid it down like that, and I have I took the bottom of the sweater, and I kind of made it even. I just cut across the top because it was kind of wavy from where I had cut out. And I'm laying it with the cut side towards the top of my sweater. And I'm doing this because this side is hemmed. And so when I fold it over to sew for my elastic, I won't have to worry about it unraveling, so it's already hemmed. Same thing with the bottom, that's why we do this way. You don't have to do anything at the bottom, it's already hemmed, it's the cuff of the pants. So it makes it super easy. So I laid this is the side I cut of the body of the sweater, and I'm matching it down here. I'm leaving a little overlap for seam allowance, and I'm just laying it on there. What I'm trying to do is figure out how big of a piece I need to cut for the top part of the pants, because I'm adding on, because this is for my 11-year-old. So when I pull this out, you can see that the pants, how much extra there are of the pants. Remember, you will need a fairly big seam allowance because we're hand sewing it. It's a sweater, and I usually use pretty thick, like 1 inch or 1/2 inch at least elastic. So this is almost enough. Like I might not even trim it that much more, just because bigger's usually better in my kids' cases. Notice also this is all cinched in because of the elastic. So you want the whole piece to be a square or a rectangle. You don't want to cut it in this narrow piece, otherwise your pants will be too tight. The elastic will bring them in. So yeah, so I'm just gonna line these up, and then I'm gonna cut along right here on this line. Okay, so now we've cut out both arms in both pieces, and I've turned them inside out so that the inside is now on the outside so that our seams don't show. And the back of the leg here, we have the crotch piece is the front. And we have the back is open because we cut into the middle of the sweater. So I suggest just pinning that really quickly so that it's together for our next step. And the next step to make it easiest is to kind of open this up and turn your extra piece to make it extra long, because we have big kids, and lay it so that the right side is up and the cut side is down, facing the bottom of the leg. So I have the cut part I cut on the sweater, and then the bottom seam is on the top, because we want that to be all nice when we fold it over to make the waistband. So we're gonna sew these together. Have the inside of this is the right side of the fabric, and I have the right side of the fabric right here. And if you mess it up and sew it all together in the wrong way, it doesn't matter. We have a few of those pants. It doesn't affect their function. It just looks kind of funky. So I opened it up, and you're gonna sew or pin first these two pieces together. So this is gonna make the rest of the tube, so that of the leg. So when you fold it over, you'll have the whole leg piece, the whole piece of pants. So we're doing from here to here, and we're sewing them together right here. Okay, so we're just gonna pin this together so that the seams are on the inside of our pant leg, and then we can go ahead and sew those up. So now that we have pinned, and you could sew that now if you want, that might be easiest, but just to show you the next step. So I have pinned that extra piece now, and you can see we have one long leg piece. And this is gonna look extra long on the top, because remember, we want plenty of room to fold it over for our waistband. But I just wanted to point out, so from the crotch piece, to the top of the sleeve of the sweater, there is a hole because we cut into that top of the sweater. So you will need to sew from the top, this opening from the crotch piece to the top, because otherwise you're gonna have a big hole in the leg of your pants. So you can sew the top on, and then you can pin this up then, or you can do it ahead of time and do all the sewing at the same time. So you're gonna sew that, and then you're also, depending on this leg I have it, but this leg I don't, because you can see that this leg had more of the top of the sweater. So I won't have to sew this one, but on the back of this one it's open. So I will need to sew the back up to this, because this is the back of the thigh. So I will need to sew here.